Hey guys, welcome to Discerning the Times Ministries. Today I wanted to talk about where are we when it comes to Bible prophecy and how close we are to the rapture. And, for one thing, I thought we would be a lot farther ahead, even though that there's been many things that have happened, and they happen almost every day. I thought we were going to be in a different area. Not the rapture altogether yet. I'm just meaning the Bible prophecy itself. But you know what? Now that you really start thinking about all the things that have happened in the last couple of years, if these guys were to continue on that same pace, it would be obvious, and then there'd be uprisings. But, I'm going to name a few things of where we are. We can see Ezekiel 38 being built up. The hook into Gog's jaw is set, I'm sure, because of, Russia has all the oil and gas supplied to Europe. Now the pipeline's been blown up, which gives leeway to Israel selling oil to Europe, which takes right from Russia's plate. And not only that, their technology, of their water is just absolutely amazing. Israel's Dead Sea is 4 times the wealth, they say, of the whole United States of America. With the minerals that are used there, and the elements that could be used for fertilizer, and just all these things that we're short on right now. Basically, the Dead Sea is where it's at. So you can see the hook in the jaw of Gog and Magog being either set or coming close, right? We're seeing these things happen. Plus the coalitions going against Israel are already there. Turkey, Iran, with Russia. We're also seeing the Abrahamic Accords. So there's certain groups of people who are making their coalitions known, throughout the world and the Middle East. So that's happening, Still a war going on in Syria, right? So we're seeing lots of different countries in there, in a proxy war. And, America isn't in there as much as they were, but they're still around. Russia, of course. Israel, of course. Iran, of course. So lots of things going on there. Israel has to defend itself throughout Syria because it's such a close border to their country. What else is happening? Well, wars and rumors of wars. Of course, the Russia and Ukraine war that is happening now, that is actually intensifying. If you listen to the mainstream media, they're going to tell you that Russia's losing this war, but it was never a war before in their eyes. Okay, they don't want to kill their neighbors. It wasn't like that. It was just a special military, not exercise, but it was just a special military thing that they were doing there to fight for the 2 provinces that were already basically Russian, Donetsk and Luhansk, to liberate them from the Ukrainian. They had an agreement that they wouldn't fire over there, but when the West got involved, Ukraine started firing against those 2 provinces, and there was an agreement between them and Ukraine, and they broke the agreement. So they can tell you anything they want, but that's the truth of what's happening in Ukraine and Russia. Plus a lot of other backstory things, going back from the Bidens and the Hunters and the Obamas and everything being in Ukraine. Anyways, so that's happening. Other wars, rumors of wars, China and Taiwan, that hasn't kicked off yet, but they're expecting that to happen. North Korea is firing off rockets everywhere, testing nuclear weapons, and lots of other wars that are happening. I mean, the United Nations involved with everything, Europe's involved with everything, We're having pipelines blown up. There's some serious strategic things happening. Bridges blowing up that goes to Crimea, which is clearly an attack against Putin himself, because since he's had Crimea, that bridge was something that he done himself, and to connect those two countries. So yeah, serious things happening. But you got rabbis also talking about they're in contact with the Messiah already, and he'll be revealed. So that's crazy, right? Like, if you look at that in Bible prophecy, you're like, what? These prominent, respectable rabbis coming out to the public and saying that the Antichrist, well, it's true, but their Messiah is going to be revealed. And that's a specific word they've revealed. Same thing what the Bible says, right? So that's pretty intense. When respectable rabbis from Israel are saying that they're in contact with the Messiah and he is soon to be revealed. Well, we know that we are to be raptured before that happens, because ultimately this Messiah is the false Messiah, and will sit in the temple that has not been built yet, but there's some major moves being made for that too, with the heifers involved, and they've got everything basically ready. And the Abrahamic Accords is getting close, where they can be making some sort of deal. And the Abrahamic Accords are, I think, that's something that the Antichrist will build onto to make an agreement with certain countries in the Middle East, and peace, a fake peace, with Israel. So, and then there's also inflation, that's happening all over the world. There's famine that's happening all over the world. There's lawlessness that's happening all over the world. There's uprisings going against their own governments. There's trade shortage. There's a shortage of everything, basically. It's the start of all the horsemen basically happening, right? We're seeing the foreshadowing happening in all the four horsemen. People are killing themselves. There's persecution against Jews and Christians. We can see that in America right now with people who are pro-abortion. And I actually did another video months back talking about they will use when Roe v. Wade was overturned. I spoke on saying they're going to use this situation to persecute Christians. And it's turning out that I was right on that, and at first it didn't seem so. But now the FBI is going against certain people, probably just because of the midterm elections, but also probably to fight against this kind of stuff. For pastors who are going against abortion and standing up for pro-life people, they're getting arrested, and they're getting 11 years supposedly in jail, or looking at anyways. And it's not the only one. There's other people who have pastors who have stood up for pro-life and have now been persecuted, and their family members, and that's just the start. When we're gone, there's going to be major persecution to people who have given their lives to the Lord after the rapture. And yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy there. But we can see the start of it. The anti-Semitism is thick. There's lots going on there all over the world. Christians, they don't even want to listen to us. They kind of hate us, right? And that's what Jesus said. They'll hate you, but they hated me first, right? So, and then there's the famine. The famine in the third world countries is thick right now, right? So we're seeing a lot of that happening. Like I said, the lawlessness, people are just killing each other all over. There's immigrants coming into different countries in America and stuff like that, who are, not all of them are criminals, but, well, I guess they all are really criminals because they're entering the country illegally. So, but that doesn't make them all bad criminals. I'm just saying, but there's a lot of terrorists who are getting let in. If they're letting anybody in, they're letting anybody in. there's terrorists and there's organizations and stuff who are getting let in, and they're organizing right now. You can almost bet on it. And all these different things are happening. The Bible said that there's going to be a lot of distress in the end times, a lot of deception. I mean, the United States of America is ruled by the most deceptive person in history in the United States of America. I mean, this guy ran for president. He lied about almost everything that he's ever done within college and his degrees and where he went and all this kind of thing. You know, he plagiarized people's speeches to act smart. You know, when he was vice president of the United States, he was into so much stuff, making it his whole family into a mafia-like criminal family. And then all of a sudden he gets into the election, and we don't know what happened there with the mail-in ballots, right? But now he's the president of the United States, and he's lying about his son's Hunter's business deals, and the corruption in Ukraine, and the deals in China, and all these different things that are happening. Now he's also involved with the World Economic Forum, who's, might I add, also want to try to take over the world and bring in this utopia transhumanist world, and along with Bill Gates and so on and so forth, and he goes on and on and on and on. Yeah, if I recommend that you listen to Billy Crone's Beyond COVID. I also recommend you listen to Klaus Schwab and the Third Reich of Billy Crone. It's absolutely fascinating. And that'll tell you where we're at. So we can see a little bit of a break, you know what I mean? Like in our world today, everyone's back to work, so to say. Everyone's got a bit of money because they've pumped so many trillions of dollars into the economies. And, but now we're starting to see inflation, and now we're going to start to see a recession. And that's going towards their plan, and to take down the United States of America, because they will no longer be a superpower. They said it themselves on their little video of the Great Reset. And, you know, putting all these things together, did any one of these happen in 2 years ago? Maybe a couple of them, maybe the start of them. But man, it's thick. And we can't even say things we want to say. You know, I don't even know if this video is going to make it, to be honest. You know, serious things that are happening. And I'm not saying that to scare you. We have to kind of make a video like this every once in a while and say, okay, where are we? You know, how many things are happening that aren't of the norm, you know? And I probably just named a third of them, probably, you know? Like, I'm not even going all the way, you know? Like, there's other serious things that are happening. We're looking almost at a nuclear war. You know, I don't believe it's going to be an all-out nuclear war. I think there's going to be a false flag event, you know? Maybe chemical weapons first or something, and maybe a strategic nuke or something like that. But I think it's just going to be a false event because there's too much rhetoric talking about it. The mainstream media is lying about too much stuff. That's another thing, the media. The Lord said, don't be deceived. The media is the time of deception. CNN, when I grew up, I used to watch hurricanes and different weather events on there, and they'd be on point, and they'd tell you exactly what's going on, and kudos to them. But CNN today, wow, it's just a propaganda network, you know. I used to mock at North Korea because they set up these videos about how awesome their country is, and they have these fake buildings and these fake restaurants and fake food in the windows and all this type of stuff. But we also really truly know what that country's like and how many people are suffering. And we thought they had the most propaganda in their media. But CNN and the mainstream media in America was voted #1 for the most propaganda in the world. Can you believe that? Of course you can believe it, because you've seen it. So that's where we are. You know, like I said, probably a third of the things that are going on. There's lots of little things that are happening too, you know. But I believe that this election coming up, and I've been saying it for a long time, that it is going to be the catalyst for the rest of the elite's plan. They're doing something to prepare for what's coming next. What is coming next? an election. And that's why Biden and his administration, or regime, I like to call it, is doing everything necessary to try to make the hit not so hard. He's trying to lower gas prices only because of the midterm election. He's trying to do all these different things before the midterm election. But after the midterm elections, all bets are off. It doesn't matter because whatever's done is done. Correct? So, what's that going to entail? I don't know. I don't know quite yet. But I've been saying for a couple of years, these midterm elections are going to mean a lot, because if the Republicans get in, it's hard to say, because they're really not doing anything now to stop a lot of these things in America, which they could be doing. Why aren't they doing them? I don't know. Are they on the side of Biden? Probably some of them. All of them? No. Maybe they're just buying their time to be able to, truth always prevails, right? So eventually the Republicans will get in. Does the Democrats have something up their sleeve to be able to win this thing? That's a good possibility. They did it last time. Or are they just preparing for a big loss, and then Biden will have to fight, and actually a lot of truth will come out to what's happening in that administration with his mental capacity and a lot of the corruptible things that are happening in the FBI, the IRS, and even the Biden family. So we'll wait and see what happens there. If the Republicans have any backbone and actually win the House and the Senate, then they're going to have all the power they need to be able to do some of these things. But that doesn't mean they're going to do them. You know what I mean? Like I say, don't put your faith in man. And it's really not about that. At this time in our lives, this time in history, being a Christian, those things are irrelevant to a sense. Of course, we also want to fight against unrighteousness. But when we're looking at the Middle East and we're looking at Bible prophecy, we're seeing bigger things happen. And we're seeing prophetic things happen, right? That we have to pay attention to more. But not only, but, we see a lot of things happening in America, but we know that the politicians are second rate compared to these elitists who have worked too hard and have gone too far, with their medical stuff, and which is now all the truth is coming out about that. I'm still seeing commercials to tell people to take it. What? Why? All the truth has come out already. And nobody's doing anything about it. Where's the Department of Justice on that? Where's I don't know, it's just genocide actually, but nobody comes out and says anything, because the majority of the people are fine, but not everybody. Not everybody's fine. There's some serious things that have been happening lately. But anyways, where are we going to go next? Well, like I said, I think after these elections, it's going to go all out. I believe this winter is going to be the start of some serious, serious issues. I believe our lives are going to change significantly. Our trade is going to change significantly. I believe there's going to be big events like World War III scenarios. Not the destruction of the world, of course. Reading Bible prophecy, we know what's going to happen to an extent. But, there's going to be some persecution involved, definitely. And the elites will probably do their next move, you know what I mean? I can't say too much of what I think, because this video will not make it to YouTube. But wait and see. That's all I say. We got 5 more weeks till these elections happen? It's getting up there pretty close. 5 more weeks. Fast that flies. And then after that, anything could happen. Absolutely anything could happen. But think of it this way. If the Democrats want to destroy America, okay, what's stopping them from repeating the 2020 situation and how they got into power. What's stopping them from doing that? Because they don't care of the consequences of the things they're doing now. So why would they care in 5 weeks? You know, if they have the media on their side, they're just going to go out and say, oh man, we never seen this coming, but the Democrats just blew it out. You know? Stay tuned, man. It's going to be pretty serious. It's going to be pretty exciting. Yeah, it's just crazy. I don't know what's going to happen, of course. I'm just guessing at this point. You know? But I do know Bible prophecy. And I do know that America is insignificant. And I do know it'll probably fall. Most likely. Or at least be less significant, you know, which is going to have the rise of Russia and China, and, you know, maybe even China is supposed to be insignificant as well. They're not a big player, but maybe they might want to keep to themselves or whatever. They're going through some economic issues as well. But Russia is a big player, so he's not going nowhere, you know. Not saying Putin is Gog, which he might be, you know, there's a good chance he is, but they're not going nowhere, that's for sure. But they do want to have power. That's a transition that's happening right now. They want power. They want their new world where they run it. And it could happen there because we're seeing them make the coalitions necessary to go after certain things. You know what? If Russia were to secure Israel, it would basically own everything, because you'd be able to control the food, because the Dead Sea will give you fertilizer. You'll be able to control gas and oil. You know, there's other players in that too, but strategically, Israel is the place to sell oil because it connects 3 continents, right? The amount of wealth and technology involved in Israel, if Russia were to get its hands off that, would boost their own country. And if he did it properly, he'd be able to flourish everything there and, you know, build up his population. But hey, it's not going to happen. But I'm talking about in his mind, he might think that that's incentive to do something like that. And he's got Iran to back him up, and Turkey as well, who also lays claim to Jerusalem. So, very interesting times we're living in, guys. That was just basically a recap of certain recent things that have been gone down. And, of course, they're happening every day, so that's not the end. But anyways, God bless you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.